All right, chat. So with Project L on the horizon, there's been a lot of talks about fighting games and free-to-play models. Now, this is a very interesting conversation because we know fighting games are not very free-to-play friendly. They're not money friendly at all when it comes to the DLC practices inside of fighting games. So we're gonna talk about a very pristine example of that in just a second. But just talking about the free-to-play aspect first. Now, there's a couple of fighting games that already have tried to implement some things like this, and it's pretty interesting as far as what they actually try to do. Two examples that come to mind right off the bat are going to be Killer Instinct and Dead or Alive. So Killer Instinct, basically, as far as I remember, the free-to-play model of that game is they have a few set characters that rotate, I want to say like every week or month. And you can play those characters and you can almost like play like just like the base game, but you just have those set characters. So you could do the arcade mode, you could practice with those characters, you could go online with those characters, and yeah, that's pretty much what we could do. I think they lock you out of like I don't think that game has a story mode. I think it's Dead or Alive that locks you out of the story mode. Like Dead or Alive has a story mode, so it locks you out of the story mode, but you can do the arcade mode, you could do the trials, you could training room, you could play online, but you can only play with those set characters. Now, if you want to make the game even more free to play friendly, you can buy each individual character that you want to play. So say if you just cared about one character, like I want to play so and so, so I'm just gonna play them. I'm just gonna buy this character, right? You want to play, I don't know, Mai that came in there, Mai from King of Fighters that came in the game. That's all you want to play. You could just buy Mai, right? And just play with Mai in the free-to-play version of the game, which is pretty cool that you can actually just have a game that's free and then buy one character, and that's as long as that's all you care about, then you can kind of just play that. And I believe Killer Instinct had that as well. But with Project L coming along, people just think the game is going to be like completely free, like not dealing with this sort of like free-to-play model, but just having the entire roster, or at least base roster, be free. And it's sort of playing off the cosmetic stuff that sort of seemingly that Riot is like known for doing as far as how they will actually get their money. Now, this is something that will be entirely different inside the FGC and could definitely spark a new business style of fighting games inside of the FGC if this is something that they actually do implement and is actually very successful. Now, the other thing I really want to talk about here is, of course, the commitment that fighting games have been known for previously or still known today. And we're going to be using Dragon Ball FighterZ as the example because this game has huge DLC amounts when it comes to the season passes and just all the stuff you have to buy in the game, especially if you are trying to be a competitive player inside of fighting games. So let's go and talk about Dragon Ball FighterZ as the example. All right, so this is Dragon Ball FighterZ on Steam, and as you can see, it is still $59.99 for the base game, right? So no sales, nothing like that. Base game still $59.99. So you're paying $60 for the base game. But then you also have the Fighters Edition and the Ultimate Edition. So I forget exactly what the Ultimate Edition exactly gives you, except for I know for a fact it was just the first season of DLC. So the first season of DLC, if we go to the DLC section for this game, you see there's See All. You go down here. If you were to buy every single DLC for this fighting game, which all of it isn't necessarily like needed, but if you did, that's $221 for to have every single thing that this game had to offer for its fighting game. So that's $221 on top of the $60 that you already paid for, right? If you just pay for the base game, because some of these are DLC passes. Now, if we go inside of here a little bit and we actually just browse the DLCs, then you'll notice that you can buy the characters. So each individual character is going to be $5 by themselves, but then they have the passes. Now, the later passes got a little bit cheaper. Season Pass 3 is $20, right? So $20 for the base pass, and then the second pass was $24.99. If you wanted the anime music inside the game, you're a big fan of Dragon Ball, you like the anime music, $14.99. So if you wanted to pay for individual characters, you could just do that. But if you're a competitive player, meaning you want to understand how to fight characters, fighting games don't have, and I think this is something that would be interesting for fighting games to at least implement if they wanted to like make games a little bit more, I want to say, cost efficient, where like the character, when the game comes out, they could unlock the character in training room, I guess, for people, if this is something they could do. Unlock the character in training room so people can at least training room against the characters that are going to be fighting, rather than having to buy the character just to training room. So like imagine if you literally just want to learn how to fight against a character and learn what they do, you would have to buy the character to put them in training room to practice against the character. And this is something that people don't like about fighting game DLC practices out already, and this is something that's been there since the beginning of time as far as when DLC been inside fighting games. You just can't put them in training room. Now, there were a couple of things that people were trying to do in this game specifically, where they would like go inside, like, I don't know, like the arcade mode or something like that, and they'll try to use Ginyu to try to like mess with the character moves, but it's not the real experience you'll get, especially like putting them in training room and stuff like that. But the Ginyu thing was kind of funny to see people try to get a workaround with. But yeah, we start going back down again, and you see the original season pass was $34.99. So the original season pass is the one that came with the Ultimate Edition of the game, and that one, the Ultimate Edition of the game was $110. So if you just wanted to get all the characters in the game, you're looking at, if you bought the Ultimate Edition or whatever, that's $110 right there, plus the $24.99, plus the $19.99. So you're looking at like $160 to play this game with all the characters inside of it. That's none of the extra stuff. That's none of the extra, like, I don't know, like, what do they got here? Like the anime songs or colors or commentator voice packs or whatever, avatars, none of that extra stuff. Just all the characters inside of the game to like have the full gaming experience when it comes to just playing the game. You're going to be spending over like $150 to play this game, and to a lot of people that's unacceptable. Now of course there's people out there that will tell you and wait for the, like, you know, the cheaper edition, the Ultimate Edition when it comes out or whatever. Dragon Ball, I don't think it never had that, right? You know, there's Street Fighter 5 that has the Championship Edition or whatever, that has like, I believe, all the current DLC up till like, I want to say it doesn't have the last season though. I think it don't have the last season. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. It has the very last season with like Luke in them, but I think it has like all these DLC up to the last season. I believe they made another version that has that season in it though. I'm not sure. Anyway, you guys get the idea that, yeah, these games, people just don't like the DLC practice with it says that come with them at the moment. So a lot of people are just thinking or wondering, how would a free-to-play model, or would free-to-play models be better to get people to play fighting games more? Because there's a bunch of different things that people say of why they don't play fighting games. One of them, obviously, you see a lot of them being intimidating. A lot of people just don't like the fact that they are 1v1, so they can, you know, a huge amount of accountability when it comes to like you playing. You know, everything's on you. But another big thing that people say that is a legit fair argument is that they cost too much to play, right? If you want to play the game and you want to have everything the game has to offer, it costs a lot of money to play these games, rather than like some of the more popular games like League of Legends and stuff that are legit free. You know, you just have to play the game, earn the currency, and with the currency inside the game, you can unlock the character. Now that is a model that, you know, a fighting game could try to implement something like that, and then like try to do cosmetics. But ArcSys has already said like cosmetics in their game are definitely hard because of their lighting system and stuff. So it depends on the type of game, the type of engine, and like different type of models and stuff like that they could do. But it's just an interesting conversation overall as far as like what fighting games can actually do to try to get more people to be interested in this genre than there already are. Because we're already a growing genre, which is very good, because obviously, you know, a lot more people are starting to see the hypeness that our fighting games. Rollback is starting to get people a lot more invested inside them, and just like the stories and stuff, you know, more esports, more exposure. A lot of ArcSys is doing great things with the IPs, you know, using Dragon Ball and stuff like that, and getting VTubers involved to get exposure and stuff. There's a lot of good things happening to get more people interested in seeing fighting games at a higher level than we ever seen before. But in order to get even more people invested into it, I think the DLC practices in fighting games is the next big thing that we do have to actually try to sort of fix. And I don't know, maybe Project L will be at the forefront of something we could look forward to seeing exactly how do they tackle this, or if they're going to be just a standard fighting game as far as the DLC practices we know today. It's going to be very interesting. I cannot wait to see exactly what they do, but it's definitely something I'm looking forward to. So yeah, I don't want to ramble about this topic too long, guys, but I definitely just wanted to talk about this because I thought it was a very interesting conversation, just mixing the free-to-play aspects and talking about the commitment that fighting games are as far as their price points, because they are very expensive. But let me know down in the comments below how you guys feel about this. How do you guys feel about fighting games as far as like free-to-play models? Do you have an idea for a free-to-play model that you think will work really well, or do you not like the idea of free-to-play models? How do you guys feel about the DLC practices overall inside the fighting community? Let me know all your opinions down in the comments below. As always, anything I had to say, drop me a like. I really appreciate it. And if you want more from me, follow my socials. Also, don't forget to subscribe and turn notifications so you know the next video goes live. As always, my name is Daikin, and I'll see you next time. Signing out.